Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the webinar on Europe-India Technology Collaboration, Legal, Regulatory and Tax Issues. This event is being organized by Nishit Desai Associates in association with Simwise for Technology Transfer India, Indo-Italian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Bahrain-Württemberg Connected. The speakers are Ms. Ruchi Biani, Head, European Office at Nishit Desai Associates, Ms. Shreya Rao, Co-Head, International Tax Practice and Head, Private Client Practice at Nishit Desai Associates, and Mr. Josefa Tawawala, Co-Head, International Commercial Law Practice at Nishit Desai Associates. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions at the end of today's discussion. Should you need assistance during this conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone telephone. Also, you can download our mobile applet, Nishit Mobile, which is available on the App Store for iOS device, Play Store for Androids, and BlackBerry World to access the current updates and videos. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I would now like to hand over the session to Ms. Ruchi Biani. Thank you, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Karuna. Good morning, good afternoon, and a warm welcome to all of you connected with us. Talking of Europe-India technological collaboration, I think simply put, a webinar like this is a live example, whereby we are able to maximize the potential of technology for the benefit of stakeholders in home country as well as in a host country. So thank you for participating and collaborating with us. So with this, let me start by explaining or setting the background for the discussion. Starting with EU-India's relation in the context of technology collaboration, since the opening up of economy in 1991, Europe has been the leading source for investment and technology transfers into India. In fact, after US, European countries like Germany, United Kingdom, Italy have been the leading source of technology collaboration. Now, this is because developing countries since long have considered technology collaboration as strategy or means to bridge the gap for technological gaps and to expedite economic development. Now, the pros and cons of such a strategy are a topic of separate discussion. However, owing to the policy of the government towards FDI and, of course, general business environment, some of the strategic alliances, joint ventures, mergers and acquisitions face problems in effective exercise of control and protection of intellectual property. And therefore, in the context of technological collaboration, the policy of the government and protection provided for intellectual property rights plays a very decisive role. So that was the background for the topic today.
So thanks for that, Ruchi. That was very interesting. But what I'd like to understand is today, when we're dealing with technology collaborations, what really is the relevance of this topic today?
Yes, yes, Shreya. Let me explain that in a bit more detail. Now, 25 years ago, when Indian government opened doors for technology transfers, transfer of technology was heavily regulated. Now, those days, Indian government permitted transfer of technology only in limited situations, where such collaboration was seen to be significantly beneficial to the growth of domestic economy. It is now important to understand that influence of technology through a purely technological collaboration versus import through a package of foreign direct investment in the form of joint venture or M&A can have different implications on growth. And therefore, as I mentioned, government policy towards foreign direct investment plays a very crucial role. Now, this also in turn helps overcome the problem of intellectual property protection. As in the case of joint ventures or M&As, intangible assets are jointly possessed, or the technology suppliers has a larger influence and control over the intellectual assets which are being housed in a JV and an M&A. So if foreign direct investment is allowed in the technology collaborations in the form of JVs and M&As, then technological collaborations can be enhanced between both the jurisdictions. With this background, let me explain the relevance of this topic. Now, with the new government and new initiatives and reforms being announced on a regular basis, a different destiny awaits India. Now, after liberalization in 1991, we are now witnessing a second period of path-breaking reforms in India. All this can be a topic of separate discussion, and without deviating from the topic, let's look at opportunities that India offers for technological collaboration to European companies. Now, judging the needs of the economy, the new government has announced several initiatives. For example, the Make in India, which has more emphasis on zero defect and zero impact on environment, or the smart cities, the 100 smart cities proposal, whereby 100 smart cities will be developed by 2022, or development of industrial corridors, or the Swachh India, meaning the Clean India, Clean Ganges, Digital India, Skill India, which will provide skill development to the youth in order to support the Make in India initiative, and the list continues. So there are various initiatives that have been announced by the government, by the new government. In order to execute all these initiatives, India can look for answers to Europe. Now, giving you an example, starting with smart cities. A smart city initiative involves components of transportation, infrastructure, responsive public services, information, communications technology. Now, this initiative to a large extent is driven by technology-driven companies. And many European companies are world leaders in this area. You know, we already hear the concept of smarter cities in Europe. Now, these companies which have portfolio, know-how, expertise can help develop cities which are more livable, more competitive, more sustainable, and through this we can help implementing smart cities concept in India. Similarly, looking at other high-value sectors like defense and railway, which are where there has been ease of control and caps have been relaxed for foreign direct investment. These offer huge opportunities for collaboration between India and Europe. Now, moving from high-value sector to traditional sectors such as manufacturing and engineering, which is the backbone for European companies, the new initiative of the government for Make in India provides good impetus for high-tech manufacturing in the field of auto components, electrical supplies, systems, biotechnology, renewable energy, and the list continues. But finally, not to forget the knowledge-driven sectors, which is the bellwether for the Indian economy. And to give you an example of the Deccan Triangle, which comprises of cities in the south, mainly Bengaluru, Pune, and Hyderabad. It is important to bring to the notice of all that these are preferred centers for multinationals to have their research and development centers. The Deccan Triangle has as many as R&D centers that can be found in Silicon Valley. So in all, from high value sectors to knowledge sectors, there are various sectors which are emerging in the current circumstances where there is scope for good collaboration between Europe and India.
Thanks for that, Ruchi, and you're absolutely correct that India seems posed for an entrepreneurial boom. And I think, all of the sectors that you've mentioned, and not just the high technology sectors, but like you've correctly stated, the manufacturing and other sectors have also been increasingly looking at technology sharing arrangements today. And going forward, it's likely that, the sharing culture will make all of us all the more richer. So good times ahead seem to await all of us.